All right, welcome back. And since the time I recorded this demo and today's recording, the balance in the BNB Miner contract has gone up tremendously, okay? And if you don't know what that means, that's okay. I'll jump in and explain it to you just a little bit later, but just know that it's a very, very good thing for the project. But first, as always, guess what I am not? Ding, ding, ding. A financial advisor. So if you're thinking you thought or you think that I'm here to give advice on any finances at all, you are mistaken, okay? Anything I say or display should not be taken as financial advice. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Keep that in mind. All of you should know that I am not responsible for anyone's finances or monies besides my own, okay? As always, I strongly encourage any viewer out there to do their own research, use prudent discernment, and to make informed decisions, always at your own risk, okay? If you hear me saying you or our or we or anything that implies I'm advising any of you out there, I am not, okay? Though I do love you all and want to see your lives flourish, this is simply a demonstration of actions and processes. That's it. So this is part 3. In part 1, I went from having some money in a bank account that was graciously given to me from friends and family for my mental health awareness nonprofit, right? To transferring that money into digital assets of cryptocurrency. Part 2 of this series, on a cryptocurrency exchange, I traded that specific type of digital asset, which was Bitcoin, for another asset called Binance Coin, which I then used to send to the MetaMask wallet I set up specifically for the nonprofit wallet to connect to the project BNB Miner. If you are lost, you may want to check out parts 1 and 2 before moving on. Now, let me pick up where I left off. So here I am with the 2.4 Binance coins in the MetaMask wallet for my nonprofit, worth about $1,015 at this time. Now, from within the browser of the MetaMask app, we're going to access the project BNB Miner. Now again, I would ask anyone that would like a little peace of mind knowing their decision to type in an affiliate URL instead of the main one is contributing at no cost to them to a nonprofit to raise awareness for mental health to do so. I've even bought a special URL that will redirect to BNB Miner to make it easier. So at the top left, let's hit the little shelves to bring down the drop-down menu. Then tap Browser. Here, I'm going to please type in www.showus.support. That's SHOWUS.support, which will redirect me to my affiliate link, bnbminer.finance?ref equals 00x capital AD 3D127, which is why I made the easy URL to help out. Alternatively, the other route is to just go to bnbminer.finance, which is ultimately where showus.support ends up. So I would appreciate the referral, but either way, we end up here. Now this, my friends, is BNB Miner. Now I love the look of this as it is because it's just so friendly and welcoming with the cartoons and the simplicity of it. It works like a charm, but I'm sure there will be more upgrades and such. So if it looks a little bit different than when you're seeing this, I may have already made or I'm making an updated video for it. But what I want to do first is scroll down to the bottom and first explain the growth this project has had, because otherwise, why would I bother to go any further, right? Now, right there, you can see two things, contract balance and my balance. The contract balance is currently about 1,037 Binance coins, which if we look at BSCscan, which is an independently operated and developed search engine that we can easily look up, confirm, and validate transactions with, we can see that 1,037 Binance coins is equal to over $435,000. Since BNB right now is valued at about $420 each Binance coin. Generally speaking, if the assets in a contract balance are increasing, it bodes well for the sustainability and longevity of the project. AKA, that's a good thing. Flyer alarm update, people, okay? I just had to show you guys this. When I first jumped into BNB Miner about a month or so ago, the contract balance was about $84,000. I remember that distinctly, and you can see it on this graph right here. Now, at the time I was recording this demo about a month later, which was about a week ago, it was at $435,000, okay? Now, a week later, there's been over $1 million more invested into this project, sitting at over $1.5 million, okay? Let that sink in. Now, I believe so many people are investing so much money into this because they see it as a very special and sustainable project with incredible potential, okay? Watch the rest of this video, and then I'll get into the nitty-gritty of the contract in the second part, which you'll also want to tune in for. So I'm gonna go do a happy dance. You get back to the demo, all right? So in as basic terms as I can put it, assuming all of the variables like the value of Binance coins stays the same and other ones that I'll discuss later, for the sake of simplicity, this is how the game works, okay? I use the digital assets in my MetaMask wallet, which is about $1,000, to hire these miners to work for me. Now, that's miners with an ER, okay? It's important to clarify. It's also important to note that when I hire, I do not get to return the miners or take my assets back. That $1,000 has been paid to the miners and is now a part of the contract balance. But these miners are now mining for me indefinitely, which we'll see why this is great. Over the course of each day from here on out, they're going to fill my barrel, aka give me 3% of the assets I've hired them for. Since 3% of 1,000 is $30, I can expect about $30 a day coming my way. So every day the miners should be bit by bit over 24 hours loading up my barrel with that 3%. Now I can remove whatever amount of money that's been mined and put into that barrel at any point during that day. For example, after 12 hours, half the day, I'd be able to pull out half of that 3%. Which would be 1.5%, which is around $15, right? Simple math. If I wait the full 24 hours to pocket the assets, I should have the full $30 in my barrel to pocket if I choose to, okay? You don't need to choose to, and we'll look at that later. So to reiterate that and extrapolate a little bit, if I put in $1,000, I understand I cannot take that back. However, every day I'll be getting that 3% back, which is $30. For anyone that knows a little bit of math, 3% goes into 100% about 33.33 times. So you can assume on day 33, I would have 33 days times $30 a day, which is $990. And then on day 34, add another $30 for that extra day, which is then $1,020. I have my $1,000 back and a little bit more on day 34 with BNB Miner. Now, this will be different when I start talking about compounding, which will knock your socks off, but let's continue without using the compounding method quite yet to see what this looks like. Now, on day 34, not only have I mined my $1,000 back, it's the day where I start profiting. Because remember, those guys doing the mining, they work for me indefinitely, as long as this contract exists. And if you take a look at how it's been doing and how it's doing now with unbelievable metrics, lots of faith, and an incredible community, my thoughts are it's going to be a long while. So now that I've got my $1,000 back on day 34, every day after that, I continue to earn $30 because they continue to mine that 3% of $1,000 for me indefinitely, right? So in about a month of 30 days at $30 each, I can expect to have about $900. That ain't bad for putting $1,000 up front and waiting a month to get it back, only to have an additional $900 each month after that, just because these guys are mining for you, mining for me, right? Here's where I talk about compounding, which is really the bread and butter of this project. Basically, compounding is instead of taking that $30 a day and pocketing it until you have your money back, and then continuing to make $30 each day after that, you hire more miners with that $30. And now on day 2, you've got $1,030 worth of miners mining 3% of that, which 3% of $1,030 is a little bit more than 3% of $1,000. You follow me? Okay. Then on day 3, you take that 3% you earned the prior day off the $1,030 and hire even more miners. So you're not taking any money yet, but you're increasing the amount of return that 3% will give you by adding more money every day to that initial $1,000. Now this may seem like small amounts to compound, and it is starting out, but very quickly it gets larger and larger. So in part 5 of this series, I'll use an Excel spreadsheet to demonstrate the very basic compounding of 3% of $1,000 without considering any other variables, which by the way, the variables have been only helping me since I've started, but we're just going to consider what compounding my 3% of the initial $1,000 investment every day can do and why someone might do it, okay? And spoiler alert, over the course of 100 days, not compounding might get me less than $2,000 in return, while compounding could get me over $6,000. And in 200 days, just under 7 months, not compounding might get me less than $5,000 in returns, while compounding could get me over $26,000. And that's with what I consider being conservative with how much I want to compound. Now keep in mind, this is just hypothetical basic compounding math and doesn't consider variables like the value of Binance coin and other things the developer worked into the system. As you'll see, the 3% return can rise and fall based on a number of these variables, one being your behavior, okay? So I would suspect that, if someone initially invests a lot into the contract and is compounding and hiring a lot, because it's contributing to the community, they'd be rewarded, for that behavior and get a higher percentage return versus someone who, say, is constantly pocketing their earnings. They might yield a little less than the average 3%. Again, This is just my speculation. I don't know the algorithm. But that's the nice thing, is you don't need to beat the algorithm on this. You just gotta play nice with the algorithm. So the bottom line is compounding is the way to go, and this project is the bomb in my opinion. When I'm compounding every day, I look at the contract balance, and so far it has done nothing but gone up. I believe that's because people recognize how truly amazing this project is and are willing to heavily invest in it. In the second part of this video, I'll thoroughly read through the contract to make sure I'm not missing anything. Wake up and cake up, people. I'll see you in a flash.